Hello, everyone. It's your friend the Night Walker. Here I am. I'm back with another movie review. I just watched this here just a short time ago, and now if you guys have been following my channel for a while, you know that I'm a huge fan of the Addams Family. It's my I think I've said this before. I go back and forth. I can't decide which TV family I like better, the Addams Family or the Munsters. But I knew that even though I was really sure this wasn't going to be my ultimate favorite version of the Addams Family, I went ahead. I had to go ahead and check out the 2019 animated movie version, and um, it's not bad. It's not my ultimate favorite version of the Addams Family, I have to say, but it's watchable. I think that would be my ultimate decision on it. It's harmless. This is kind of more like that's the thing, I mean, I've heard people say, well, this is if you want to get your kids, get them started into, liking the Addams Family, which, yeah, that's true. You could, but at the same time, you just use the original movies to do that too. Heck, even the TV show. The TV show is pretty easygoing and it's pretty lighthearted. So even just watching the TV show, I remember watching it when I was like, you know, 5 years old or something like that. I watched the TV show when I was little, and it's like it didn't scare me too much or anything. I enjoyed it. I loved it for what it was, and I have a big place in my heart for the TV show as well as the movies. I saw these when I was young too, and got to see both of them in the movie theater, and I was really happy about that. But yeah, I mean, the live action movies and the TV show plays well to children. But this here, still, if this is how you want to start your kids off to the Addams Family, I say go ahead and go for it. The story. One thing I do find intriguing about this story is that you do have your regular characters of the Addams Family. You got Gomez, you got Morticia, you got Uncle Fester, you got Lurch and Granny and Cousin It. One thing I will say, I was like, I'm probably going to drop a couple of spoilers here and there, but one thing I will say about Cousin It is that they get Snoop Dogg to do the voice of Cousin It, and maybe it's just me. It kind of seems like that was a little bit of a waste of talent. I mean, I got nothing against Snoop Dogg. I like him. It's just kind of seems like they just bring him in just to basically go me 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 me, like make the noises that Cousin It makes. One thing that you're going to notice about this movie, is that really does set it apart from the live action movies and the TV show. This movie is very message oriented and very heavy handed. Now you start off the movie, you got Gomez and Morticia. Basically, it's like their wedding night, and they're getting away from an angry uh, mob of villagers who want to kill them and all this stuff because they're creepy and they're kooky and they're mysterious and spooky and all that stuff. So they're trying to get away, and they're driving along, and ultimately they hit, somebody who's dressed up in basically dressed up in like a prison outfit, And then we come to find out that actually the person that they hit is Lurch right there. And Lurch, at first appears very scary, but the thing is the Addams Family. That's they're not afraid of this stuff. It's like normally stuff that most people would be afraid of. The Addams Family, they're never afraid of that stuff. So they just basically, as soon as they see Lurch, they just hand them their luggage and tell them come up here, be our butler, and like they're looking for a place to stay where basically they could be left alone and nobody will bother them, and that they can just do whatever they want and have start their family and raise their kids and just basically live life and be happy and go about their daily routine and not bother anybody. And then we notice this house on the hill that turns out to be an old insane asylum, and so they decide it's home for them. They go in they walk into they walk in the front doors, and then find out immediately the place is haunted, and you hear the scary voice telling them "get out" and all that. And then Gomez and Morticia are like, "This is home." So then we get caught up on the fact that like they had their two children, Wednesday and Pugsley. Now the difference is, as far as I know, in both the TV version and that's the thing. I think it differs from every variation. But from the TV show and the movies, as far as I know, it was always Pugsley was the oldest and Wednesday was the youngest. Wednesday was always the baby, as far as I know. And in this version, it turns out actually they switched that around, and that actually Pugsley is the youngest and Wednesday is the oldest. And you know, which I mean, it's not really a big deal. It's just if you're a fan of it, like I am, you're going to notice these things. So some time passes on, and they're just living their life, and then all these things that you're familiar with. That's the thing. There are going to be characters and elements in this movie that if you're not a fan of the live action movies or the old TV shows, some of these things are not going to make as much sense to you. You got Morticia's plant. Was it Cordelia? I think it is that eats meat and things like that, and you got the lion, that they just call kitty cat, and they got the trees, that come to life and things, and so basically they're just living their normal everyday, what's normal for the Addams family anyway. But then we come to find out that you know that Pugsley is becoming, he's reaching this. I forget what the name of it is. I'm sorry, but there is this like rite of passage that Pugsley needs to go through, and basically a lot of it includes like sword fighting and things like that, fencing, and so the whole family is going to be coming to witness this event, and Gomez wants to try to get Pugsley, ready and get him prepared so that he can, do this and do this rite of passage, and he will, be okay in front of the rest of the family. And but the thing is like Pugsley is not, he's not too into this whole thing. And then meanwhile, you got Wednesday. Wednesday is Wednesday, and one thing I will say, you got some really good voice talent here. Oscar Isaac, he does a good Gomez. His version of it is a little bit different than what you saw Raul Julia or John Ashton or Tim Curry do before, but it's kind of cool. It's kind of neat that it is unique in its own way. You got Charlize Theron as Morticia, which I think honestly, yeah, you could still, even if you did like another live action movie and you put her in the, you give her the dark hair, give her like a dark wig, give her the dress and everything, she could pull it off. She totally could. Um, you know, you got Nick Kroll, who he's a very big name um, animated voice actor. He's on the Netflix series Big Mouth. He's done all other kinds of things. He does the voice of Uncle Fester. You got Lurch. You got Finn Wolfhard. From Stranger Things and It. He's doing the voice of Pugsley. You got Chloe Grace Moretz doing the voice of Wednesday. Which, while Chloe Grace Moretz did great on the voice, I'm not really sure if. Well, I mean, now because she's a grown woman, it wouldn't really work as well. But like probably back when she was a little girl, you go back and see some of the stuff, she easily could have pulled this off. Um, but anyway, so now you got Wednesday. Now the funny thing is, this is another little change that I noticed too. Is if you ever watch the old Addams Family TV show or you watch the movie, usually it's like if one of the Addams Family children wanted to kind of break away from the normal family dynamic that they have and start acting like everybody else, usually it was always Pugsley. Wednesday always, it seemed like Wednesday always embraced her, you know, being a member of the family and, just embraced, the dark side and everything that, the Adams family are into. And it's like she never seemed to question it. She never seemed to, split away from that. It always seemed to be Pugsley, like on the TV show. Like Pugsley always wanted to like become a Boy Scout, or he wanted to do this, or he wanted to do that. In this version, Wednesday is the one, she decides she wants to be a little bit more rebellious and break away from the family, and she wants to go to school. And meanwhile, you got this lady named Margot, who she's basically kind of this basically she's kind of something a little bit like a Martha Stewart type. She does this reality show where she's got this neighborhood that's in the vicinity of the Addams family house, and she redoes every house because the thing is she wants to sell all these houses and make a lot of money. And she got all these houses looking kind of formula. They kind of all look the same, and makes them all nice. Well, in the meanwhile, Margot's got this daughter, and the daughter is, uh, let's say a little bit different. And Margot just kind of, she very much neglects her daughter, doesn't really, spend much time with her, doesn't really talk to her much of anything like that. And then she finds out that there's one house still in the town that she hasn't like remodeled yet and made to look like everybody else's house, which of course is the Addams family house. And so, she goes to them and she, tells them finally Wednesday is able to convince the family to get out of the house and they go into town. And of course, everybody's like, weirded out by them. Um, you know, like I said, Uncle Fester, he comes to visit and he wants to help Gomez get Pugsley ready for this rite of passage. At the same time, you got Granny, who is perfectly voiced by Bette Midler, which I think if he did that as a live action movie too, kind of have her play Granny Addams, maybe just kind of have her do kind of a variation on like her witch character from Hocus Pocus. You easily could have pulled that off. Um, so they go to town, and turns out Wednesday meets this girl Margot's daughter, and they become friends, and then they kind of start like feeding off of each other. Whereas, like Wednesday starts, basically dressing like this other girl, and this other girl like, turns goth and starts wearing black and everything else to, simulate being like Wednesday. And then what we come to find out, like I said earlier in the review, this movie is very, very message oriented. It's a little heavy handed with it, in the sense that the whole thing is about, it's all about acceptance. You know, um, and that's the thing. As the movie progresses, that's like the thing. The whole family comes to visit. Like I said, Snoop Dogg does Cousin It, and so on, and they come to realize, like, Pugsley is not exactly his father's son, and that, but he's different, but he's still a valuable, wonderful member of the family in his own way. Same thing with Wednesday, and then the people in the town, they come to respect the Addams family, even though that their set of values and morals are different. But that's kind of the thing. This movie really, really is heavy-handed as far as like that goes. It's all about accepting everybody for who they are. So it's like, the people in the town, need to learn to accept the Addams family for who they are. The Addams family, in turn needs to accept everybody as they are. And so that's kind of the big thing. It's just that it's all about, that sort of thing. But you got the character of Margot, and who is voiced by Allison Janney. She cannot abide this sort of thing, and so she ultimately becomes kind of like the villain. And her ultimate goal is to destroy the Addams family house and rebuild it and make it like everybody else's house. And so kind of everybody needs to put a stop to it. And then, we find out that, this is how you find out that like Wednesday is good at her own set of skills, whereas like Pugsley is good at his own set of skills. And, Gomez, is good at his thing. Uncle Fester and Morticia and everybody's kind of got their own way of doing things. And that's basically it. Everybody's different, but everybody needs to accept that. That's basically overall the main message of this movie. Um, like I said, this movie, it's not a bad way to start your kids into the Addams family if they want to get into it. I would say though too, these movies will definitely do the job as well. Um, I would say, heck, after your kids watch this, ask them, hey, you had fun with that. You want to watch this one, these two? Then see if you can get it past the fact that it's black and white. See if you can get them into the TV show, because the TV show is amazing fun. It's really good to watch. I have the whole series on DVD myself. I love the Addams Family. I always did, and I always will. Um, I think my only biggest gripe with this, though, is like I said, I would like something a little bit darker. Um, I think that's about my only complaint. I would like to see a little bit darker version of the Addams Family. I remember hearing a rumor at one point, and I don't know if this is true. This is a rumor I heard, so I can't automatically say, "Oh, this did in fact happen." But one thing I will say is that I remember hearing that there was talk about, Paramount or Warner Brothers approached Tim Burton to, reboot the movie and do his version of it, and maybe even have Johnny Depp play Gomez and things like that. I remember hearing that as a rumor. I don't know if that was ever true or not. It could have been. I would have loved to have seen Tim Burton do an Addams Family movie. I think everybody is kind of stunned that he never did. I think a lot of people would be like, Addams Family and Tim Burton seem to go like that seems to go together like chocolate and peanut butter. It's like, why would he not? He remakes all this other stuff. Why would he not remake Addams Family? You know, if you're gonna remake Charlie and the Willy Wonka, why can't you remake Addams Family? But that's about the only biggest gripe that I have. Is just I would like to see something where the humor is a little bit darker, a little bit edgier. I mean, I understand it's all meant to be in good fun, but just something a little, like I said, just a little bit more meatier. Just a little bit. But still, this here, it's not horrible. I would say though, I could watch it. I sat through it. I could sit through it again. It doesn't bother me that much. It's just a little too toned down for my taste. It's like if I'm going to watch Addams Family, I'll probably grab this most likely, or most likely really the TV show. But still, this is harmless. It's actually fun. You get it. So, there were some things I thought that the movie was going to leave out. Uh, One thing that they did, okay, they kind of messed up when it came to the nicknames, because one thing I always, always thought was fun was that Gomez and Morticia had nicknames for each other. He always called Gomez always called Morticia Kadamia, and Morticia always called him Bubala. So in this, in the movie, I was like, well, is this even going to happen? And we finally do get a scene where, um, you know, Gomez calls Morticia Kadamia, but I don't think we ever hear her call him Bubala. So anyway, but that's just it. I mean, it's harmless. It's okay. I mean, it's definitely not going to be your ultimate favorite version of the Addams Family, but like I said, I could watch it. I've watched it before. I could watch it again. Like I said, you got some really good voice talent on here. You got, Charlize Theron did a good job. Oscar Isaac, he did a good job. Bette Midler, like I said, she did really good as Granny. Chloe Grace Moretz, like I said, in real life, she would have been too old to play that part, but, she was younger. Yeah, she easily could have done Wednesday. I think, though, as far as, like, most people are concerned, though, when it comes to, oh, man, when it comes to Wednesday, nobody's going to beat Christina Ricci. I think she kind of nailed that part shut behind her. Even though, in my opinion, the girl who played the part of Wednesday in Addams Family Reunion, I thought she was pretty good. But that's just me. Um, Finn Wolfhard, like I said, yeah, he really could not be. Yeah, there's no way you could have him play Pugsley. You would have to sit there and put him all kinds of fat suit and makeup and everything else, because Pugsley, is he's a chubby child, and Finn Wolfhard is, skinny as a rail. So, but still, yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's harmless. You could watch it and have a good time with it. I would just say though, you probably get done with that. You're probably gonna be like, well, I'd rather watch this instead. But anyway, though, still, um, don't shy away from it. Just if you're really into Addams Family and curiosity's sake, I say go ahead and give it a shot. So anyway, so that's going to do it. If anybody took the time to watch this video, I thank you for doing it. I appreciate you for doing it. I honestly hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. There'll be weekly videos posted. And until then, this is your friend, the Nightwalker, and take care. Have a good night. Bye bye.